All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is October 30th, 2017. This is the Monday night webinar. And the title of tonight's webinar is, Do You Know Where the Next Trade Is? And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, you should be able to see still the standard disclaimer, I do believe. Yep. And what I'm going to show you right now, though, is our members know that we have a training manual that is on our website, okay? But for y'all that are here on our trial this week, and there's quite a few of them in the webinar tonight, thank you very much for joining us. Be sure and study these little videos, because when I go over things tonight, I'm not going to have a lot of time to really go over initial setups and things like that, but I'm going to show you how to use this little trading system that we talk so much about, okay? Because when we say box it in, to give an example, at the open, these can be very, very good trades. And our little box tool called the region, which is right down here, is a very, very good tool. And here are these videos. You just simply click on them, and these are links right here on this PDF. So that'll actually link to a video. You can see it turn to a hand. Anytime that something turns to a hand like that, that's a link. Everybody should know that, obviously, but if you don't, that's a link, okay? So you just simply click them and watch the video. If you have any questions where it's at, the email that we sent out to everybody that's on trial this week, it's in that email called Video Ebook, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and look at and see if we can figure out how to trade some charts. Okay, you should be able to see a chart on your screen. Now, this is actually real data, okay? I like to use real data when I'm doing my webinars. I do it in replay mode, but if you were in our trading room today, you definitely heard some good trade calls, okay? And we're going to go over some of those, but we're also going to take some trades that I didn't personally take because I wasn't up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So let's see if we can also see where the next trade is, even at 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I'm going to ask you real quick, what is the trend on this chart as I speak right now? Okay, where's the next trade? And like I always say, always look left and right, because there is a trend on the left and there's a trend on the right. And most people are typing in, well, sure, it's long, right? So if I were to ask you a question then, unless you really literally shorted it up here where you got this little head and shoulders or whatever and might have had a consolidation patch, why would you be going short now? Because that's exactly right. See, if you look at this, well, one thing, our power meter is green. And isn't that support right there? Isn't that what we call the identified swing? Okay, now let me take some of this off and I'll show you another way to see this. Now, does that look like a downtrend? Same chart, okay? Now, I went ahead and marked these swings as number 1 through 6, okay? How many of you have been with us for quite a while and you can tell me exactly which numbers are the identified swings? Anybody? There you go. Gosh, that's good. How many of you cannot see the identified swing on this chart? Anybody? I'm getting lots of answers and it looks like they're coming in correct. Very, very good. Everybody see that? Let me show you why, okay? Now, keep in mind there's an identified swing for a downtrend and there's an identified swing for an uptrend. Okay, and this is super important if you want to really make money trading and also stay on the right side of the trend on your trades And how about getting some monster 40 tick moves, 60 tick moves? To heck with those little 3 and 4 tick moves that, people put 50 contracts on ES. How would you like to make, 40 ticks, 60 ticks, sometimes 100 ticks? We did 100 ticks on Friday on oil alone. Okay, but let me show you real quick, because most everybody in here did actually answer this correctly. And the answer is that 3 and 5 are the identified swings. Okay, now let me show you how we know that, and it's so important to know this, believe me. Okay, once you see this particular concept, you can literally you can change your trading. I promise you can, because look at this. You have a low, we have a high. Okay, now at the time, let's just look at it in real time. Don't pay any attention to this back here at all. All right, this is not an identified swing, because this could actually go anywhere it wanted to and even take this out. You see what I'm getting at? But as long as it takes out this swing right across here, and I'm going to go over this really quickly because I want to go over some good trades and everything. But when this takes that out, like so, that is your identified swing. Okay, now that's on an uptrend. So wouldn't you think, if this is your identified swing now anyway, that if this was to say top out and break this, that more than likely you'd be going down instead, right? But that's not what happened. You actually had a high. Okay. Right here it starts turning. That's not our identified swing yet, but it is our identified swing when it takes out this swing over here. Now this is on the longer term trend. You have the exact same thing on these other trends also, but we're talking a little bit easier to see on the longer term trend. Okay, so when did this swing get identified? Number 5 here, when it takes out this swing to the left. So is that swing identified? So now you have swing. Let's just get rid of the ones that aren't identified. We'll just erase it. We'll erase it. That's our identified swing. We'll just go ahead and erase all of them that aren't. Okay? Everybody see that? And let's go ahead and erase this too. Now, if you can get this particular concept in trading, you can make a world of difference in your trading, okay? Because let me show you what we like to do in our trading room. I'll just go ahead and get rid of any of the markings on the chart, okay? Now, what we like to do is we like to draw lines on our charts, okay? I would draw a line right here. Now, let me ask you a question. If this was to decide to do this, and then this, and then this, wouldn't that actually be breaking the trend, right? That would be your identified swing right here, right? Because see, it's the opposite on a short side. You don't know that's your identified swing until it takes this out, okay? So let's look at the chart in real time, and let's see what it actually does for us. First of all, before I go any further, that's really basic training, but does that open up some eyes? Because if this is actually, see, there you go. Lots of people say they've gotten better at seeing this. When I first saw this 9 years ago was when it literally changed the way you can trade forever. Basic but critical, absolutely. Because let me ask you a question. How many of you have gotten on the wrong side of the trade and you got a full stop out and you wondered why, maybe you were in a trading room and yeah, exactly. Lots of people. So let me ask you a question. If you were looking at this chart right here, wouldn't you think you would have to at least break down below here, something like this, for instance? and then head down if this was actually ever going to break, right? Now you do start getting lightning stair-stepping over here too, and you can start getting it before this, but remember till it gets past here, which is on your left side of the chart, that this is still an uptrend. Okay, so let me show you real quick on what's actually going on the chart. Now this is, like I said, this is a live chart. We just don't have the prices on this chart. But this is this chart right coming up for you. Just a second. Where are you at, gold? There we go. Bear with me a second. It's on the wrong screen. It's 4-range chart. Where'd you go? There you go. Okay. Okay, so let me ask you a quick question on here. We just looked at this exact same chart. We looked at it like this. Backspace. Okay. And we looked at it even further back, didn't we? Like right here. Okay. Now, looking at that chart, even though my background turned red, is that a short type chart or is that an up chart? Because I'll tell you what, you won't make as many mistakes if you'll learn to see these charts like we teach to see them. Okay? Because once you are able to see these charts like this, like I say, it makes a world of difference in your trading. Okay? So let's just play the data, and let's put Object Trader on the chart. In the room, we don't have Object Trader on the chart because, well, frankly, it takes up this much of the chart. So it's quite a bit of the chart, especially when you have 5 charts on the screen. But we have tools in Object Trader that can actually take these trades. We have stealth, we have box trades, we have lightning trades. One of my favorite, notice how lightning is actually red. We're still in an uptrend. So couldn't you, just like I said in the trading room this morning, and I'm going to show you some of those trades we called in the room live this morning that were red bars down here around this phantom area, and how you can take them, okay? Because what you can do is you can actually take them when this thing starts on the right-hand side, starts stair-stepping back up, if it does, okay? Now, we don't know it's going to do it yet because we haven't, frankly, gotten down to support. We got a little higher low as we speak right now, but we've also got a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, lower high, and lower low. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's pretty common at being the end of a move. It's 3 thrusts, okay? But let's just see if we can trade this based on how we teach, okay? I'm going to kick this up just a little bit, so hopefully we can get into it. And let's just do like 3, and we'll do a PM trade. Now, PM is lightning. So what lightning is looking for is to go from red to green, a change in condition. Okay, right now, you can clearly see we're kind of heading down right now, right? Okay, but our long-term trend is still up. Our mid-band is still up. Our background is red, though. Okay. But when you look to the left to trade the right, you're going to change again. Like I said, you're trading forever because your overall trend is still up. Your overall trend's still up until it actually takes this out right now. Okay. Now what we call your medium trend is actually down. It started going down when it broke this swing right here, and it kind of kissed it, and you might have gotten a little trade to the downside. Okay. But let's see if we can get a trade, and we'll just trust lightning to see if we can. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Now we can't get a red trade because it's already red, so it would have to turn green first. Okay, so we're going to wait for a trade to see if we can actually get one. Draw your lines on your charts and just watch. And remember when I said this morning several times that we're going to use lightning to get in the trade? That's actually a pretty good area to get those trades like that, lightning. Okay, now where's lightning? Right this very moment as I speak. Just the way I taught that just a minute ago, but on a lot smaller scale. Where's lightning on this chart? Well, lightning is right here as I speak, right across there. If that takes that out, now lightning is there. Everybody see it? Now let's see if we can get lightning even a little bit lower, or if it's going to break it. It'll turn green when it does. Lightning is here. Almost, not quite. It's doing a little double bottom. I'd probably still put it here for right now. What's that little power meter? If we get an up move, now if we break, what are we looking for? We're going to look for a thrust and a retrace. Everybody know that? That's the way we do it. Lightning is right here. If it takes this out, lightning may even be here. We don't know yet. If it closes below that swing to the left, it will be, won't it? Lightning's right there. Now what I would probably do, being an aggressive trader, I would probably do something like this, buy one, okay? And I'd put my stop just under the swing with a close of a bar, okay? But now my lightning kicked in, and see, we bought another one. Everybody see that? Everybody see why we bought another one? Because lightning actually kicked in with the trade automatically. Pretty cool little deal. Now, let me ask you a quick question though. With the background now red, okay, and my midband is starting to head down where it wasn't a minute ago. Did you notice that? When we first started this trade, the yellow midband was right here. But now we do have a downtrend, okay? So let's just go ahead and protect ourselves. We're going to go ahead and just protect ourselves with midband, because we may get a little short trade to the downside instead, okay? Let's see if we can get something like that instead. Now see, you did get a high, a low, higher high, and even a little higher low by one tick. So to me, that tells me that this is going to actually head up, but it does not mean it's going to do it for what we call the interim time or the minor lightning, okay? So let's see if we can get a trade. I draw my lines on my chart. There's resistance right there. Everybody sees that, right? You've also got resistance right here. Okay, I think I can get that resistance actually. We'll see. Now, where would you bring your stop? Just the way I taught it on lightning. Wouldn't you go right there? Everybody see how easy that is to do? Now, we do officially have a downtrend right now, but on the left side of the chart, we still got an uptrend. So always remember, when you've got a uptrend on the left but a downtrend on the right, you're going to want to be a little bit more in the scalpy mode, or use lightning to get in and out of trades. We know we just got our targets. All right, see your lightning. We've actually got a short background. Midband is short. If we get a lightning to the downside, we'll go ahead and take a trade. Now this is like boxing it in, by the way. Okay, but notice we don't have any lightning yet. Lightning is way down here. Okay, I don't want that trade if it comes way down there, but I do want it if it comes down, comes back up, you know, makes a little lightning like it's trying to do right now. Okay, let's see if we can get a trade. Lightning is right here, but see, you're green already, so you can't go long. And by the way, I'm going to show some of those tools. Like when I called that trade in the room this morning on gold, we're going to use the tool that I actually called it on. Brian, this really opened up, doesn't it? When you see these webinars like this, it kind of confirms everything we teach, doesn't it? It makes a world of difference in a person's trading. It really will. Okay, where's lightning? Well, that's a high, that's a low, that's a lower high, so wouldn't that be lightning right there too? Right now, right? Okay, we're going to see if it goes higher. If it goes above here, then we're going to have to go stair-stepping down again. That's like a double top. There we go. See where lightning's going to be. You see it? Everybody see it? Everybody see lightning yet? Anybody? Well, that actually fired it right there. Now, I would put my stop above here. Matter of fact, this swing right here, because they may test that one. We'll see. Getting us a little bit of heat. I'm going to go ahead and add again, though, if it goes, because that is holding resistance. Yeah, we'll do it if that goes red. This is what we call a phantom trade. It came really close to phantom, line 6, after a trend change. And we just got in another contract. Oh, I've got this set. The reason it didn't do 4 is because I've got my strategy set to do max of 3. See the 3 right there? Okay, so we won't get in 4, even though we tried, because our max quantity is set at 3. Okay, so let's go ahead, since we're looking to take some profit, we're going to take some at that swing, like so, like that. Everybody see that? And then we're going to take some more, look to the left, always to trade the right. And I'd probably take some more right here. See this swing they haven't checked yet? Right across there. I'd probably take some more right there. So that's probably, and that's the same spot right there. So I guess we'll go ahead and just take both contracts off there. Or we can let one run. You want to let one run? Everybody see how to see the trade on the chart so far in real time? Because I can tell you, if you miss a trade, all you got to do is wait for it to retrace. Most people end up losing their shirts because they chase trades. If you chase trades, stop it. Because chasing trades will make a world of difference in your bottom line, and it'll be a negative bottom line. Now, if you're doing okay in your trading, don't let me talk you into a different way of trading. You know, keep doing some of the things you do, but also remember that there's always times that you can do something different that you might even increase your bottom line. You see what I mean? You know, for instance, I could give you one of our members to give an example. All right, when he first came to us, he said he was doing pretty decent in his trading, you know, making a few $100s a day. Okay, well, that same guy says he makes a few thousand a day nowadays because he uses our method, and he's gotten very good at doing it, and he uses more contracts. Okay, and that's the key to making money, is obviously, you know, more contracts. Let's go ahead and bring our stop. We'll go ahead and bring it a little bit. Let's bring it to that level right there. See the swing? That way we're protected. We're only going to lose 7 ticks if we don't get our target. Okay? Almost got us. Now this is about the time getting really close to where we opened the room, wasn't it? Not quite though. See, it's 7:36, 7:37 in the morning. Okay. Now, does anybody remember a trade that was called on gold this morning? Because the closer this gets to 8 o'clock, you're going to actually see that trade in real time that I called this morning. And let's go ahead and get ready to take it. That's 7:54. I'll go ahead and slow this down. That's 50 times normal speed. Let's just go ahead and close this out. Or we can leave it on for a minute. Let's go ahead and leave it on for a minute. And we'll go ahead and tighten our stop again to right there, just in case. Okay? As a matter of fact, that looks like a pretty good little area thrust retrace. If they give us a lightning swing here, everybody's getting close to seeing how I called that trade now. What's this? This happened in real time. May have to speed it up again, unfortunately. Everybody remember what I said about lightning swings? Where is your identified swing right now on this particular chart? Well, it's not here yet, is it? If this closes, is it here? is our identified swing right here? Absolutely, isn't it? So isn't this, if you were looking to the left to trade the right, wouldn't you see that this was a thrust down, just a little retrace, see right up there like that, and this was another thrust down. So isn't that our identified lightning swing? Right this very moment anyway. Now, if we get a little thrust pullback, we may have another lightning swing a little bit lower, okay? Now, I'd probably have already gone on this one because this is a higher low again. But anyway, we'll do it the right way. Everybody remember this trade that was called in the room this morning? How do you think this was called like this? Because we trade looking to the left to trade the right. Now, I've got this trade still on, okay? So if we do happen to take out this swing right here with the close of a bar, couldn't I just reverse this? Okay, see, we're still up nicely on this trade that I just did. And the earlier one, you know, right at midnight where we got this, well, not midnight, but about 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Now, I don't know if I've got my chart set for that little box that we do at 8 o'clock. Evidently, I didn't because it didn't show it. See, it's 8:07. This is replay data, just like we called this morning in the room. Okay, now normally when it gets close to 8 o'clock with oil and everything, I would probably close my other trade out to begin with because you can clearly see this is bouncing off of a bottom. But we'll leave it on. But I will reverse it if it goes right through here because this is exactly where I called that trade in the room this morning. We boxed it in. Everybody remember it? Let's just go ahead and box it in. Let's kill this trade and let's use the tool we call region. And we're going to just simply bring our region like so. We'll bring our bottom end of our region like so, just in case it goes the other way, right? And we'll just see if we can get in a trade. Now, to me, this is lightning. See it? Thrust, retrace, thrust. That's lightning. So I'd want to break that to the downside if I was going to try to head on down, okay? You want to be real careful getting too tight of a box, especially if you look to the left and your trend is up, okay? And your trend was definitely still up, okay? Just think when I was talking in the room this morning, remember what we talked about? If you had one contract, how much you did? If you had 2 contracts, how much you did? What if you had 4? Well, we can't do 4 because we've got our max contract set at 3. So we'll leave it at 3. Does everybody see that this is no longer a downtrend when it takes out that swing? Now, you can also do this. Let me show you another way. All right. If you don't want to take the breakout trade, let it do a little consolidation patch, and it'll usually do it unless it just pops right up. I'll show you. I'll draw a little consolidation patch and see if it does. I don't remember if this did this morning, but we're going to find out. Because it's breaking resistance. You'd put your stop just under the swing. Okay. Look to the left to trade the right. What would you do, everyone? Protect your coin, right? Well, you'd want to protect some right here. See that swing? You'd want to protect some here. See that swing, right? That's pretty much right here. And then you want to protect some at the top. But since that's your runner, you might want to go ahead and run your runner, right? Okay, so let's run our runner. Like so. Okay, this really slowed down. Remember gold this morning? Now, the reason I'm showing one chart is because when we're showing 5 charts in the room, keep in mind it's a little bit more noisy for people. And this will really give you an idea of why those trades were called in the room live. You notice that we actually got in this trade even before the trend change in the mid-band. And why did we do that? Our Viper traders know already because 8 o'clock oil is a good time to box in. Matter of fact, if I had this set for more than 3 contracts, I'd probably be in more than 3. But anyway, let's just let it do its thing. Now, where would your stop be on this trade? Anybody? Looking to the left to trade the right. Where would it be? Got our target way up here. Where would our stop be? Absolutely. Some of you got it right there. That's the lightning swing. Everybody see that? Now, by the way, if this comes back into like a touch within, say, 2 or something like that, or maybe even 3, you can add to this trade if you want. Because with region, all this has to actually do is come within 2 ticks of this top. It may not do it, and if it doesn't, we won't get any added. It doesn't look like it's going to. But if it did, you could actually add to that trade. There you go. How many of you got this trade this morning, by the way? And by the way, this is actually pretty much where I'd be taking that trade off if we get what we call a lightning breach. Okay, we've got one left on. Let's do a little light. Well, it's already done it, so I'm going to close it. See why? Because what is it doing? Well, you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, and you have a lower low. Okay, that's lightning. That's why that changed to red. Everybody see that? Okay, now let me ask you a quick question. Does anybody know where the next trade is on this chart? Anybody? Because if you can start to see this based on lightning swings, you're going to, again, become a pretty good trader. Okay, let's slow this down for a minute because I want to go over something that Charles teaches very well, and I like to myself too. If you box this in right here, okay, keep in mind that if this was to break up above here, you've only got this far to go on a thrust. You would have to wait for the bar to close, so it might be up here. So is that a good trade? And the answer is no. Everybody see why? Now, if you do that trade, you want to make sure if it busts up above that box, it stays above that box. Okay? But your best trade is looking to the left to trade the right. And let me ask a quick question of anybody in here. Where's the next trade on this chart? Anybody? The next trade on this chart. Around mid-band, that's a very, very good predictor, right? But where is the swing on this chart? Looking to the left to trade the right. Where's the swing? Isn't it right here? Didn't it just thrust up above it? So you look to the left to trade the right. That's not quite at mid-band, so that's even a risky trade. Everybody see that? When you do a long trade, the best trade you can possibly get is at or below mid-band. And at usually means that it almost touches it. Even a tick away is fine with me a lot of times. Okay? But you can also wait for the thing to quit going down, because right now it's heading down a little bit, isn't it? Stopped us out. This is the way they do. They retrace. They thrust, they retrace. I wouldn't even get ready to touch this trade period until it at least came down to here myself, because you already got that monster move. So let's see if we can see if this will come down to our little sweet spot. Because looking to the left to trade the right, thrust, retrace, thrust, that is definitely a good identified swing. Everybody see that? You have a high, low, lower high, lower low. Not a lower high just yet here until it takes out the low. Everybody see that? All right, so there's your lightning swing right there now. But that's not a good trade, because if you wait for the close of the bar, that's not high enough up to just get to that double top, is it? But what if it gets down here, or even around mid-band? Want to see if we can get something? Let's just go for 10 ticks even. If it touches that mid-band, I'll go ahead and fire a trade and see if we can get 10 ticks. Not yet. Nope, not yet. Still getting lower highs and lower lows though, right? Remember everyone where this trade stopped me out this morning? Was right underneath that swing. It double topped here, so you didn't know for sure it wasn't heading up then, but when it went down with a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low, it stopped you out. And watch your lightning, because, well, we're getting close. I think I just missed it. Doggone it. See, I just missed it. I drew my line and everything, but I missed it. So I'm not going to chase it. Now, if you took that this morning where I had that line drawn, you did get 10 ticks. Okay, because we had that line drawn right here. Now, if this continues heading with this little lightning swings, let's draw them. I'll draw them manually so you can see them in like real time. Because you're going to, after this class tonight, you're going to be able to see how to tell where your next trade is almost every single chart. Now I could draw this with lightning, but I'm drawing it manually because I want you to see it. Okay, let's see here. Right here actually, and then right up here. That's where we wanted the trade, but we don't want it now. And then it went way up here. But let me ask a quick question. By judging what I said earlier, is this an identified swing right here? And the answer is, everyone that's been with us a while, no, right? Because it wicked below the swing. So this is not your identified swing, this is. So until it takes that out, as we speak, see how they kissed it? They always check identified swings. And if you learn to see this in real time on your charts, it'll make a world of difference in your trading. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to see this predictor. See, that's telling us it's going to come down here. So I'm going to do a long touch plus 2. And if that gets within 2 ticks of the top of that box, that should fire a trade for me. Everybody see that? Because what this is doing, this is looking for the T, top of the box, touch plus 2, which means if it gets within 2 ticks of my swing, it'll fire that trade. Unless it blows into the box, which if it does that, we won't get the trade. Predictor perfectly right there on top of that box. There you go, you just got your trade. Everybody see that? Now notice I forgot to change that. Let's go ahead and, I forgot to put all the targets on, but that's okay. Could you please explain again why that was not an identified swing? I'll go over that more than happy. Absolutely. Let me just show you. Why was this not an identified swing, Viper team? Let me go ahead and draw it with lightning because it'll draw the same way as I did it. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Okay, if you look, now remember what we talked about just a little bit ago with this chart over here, remember? When did this swing become identified? When it at least closed above this swing, okay? When did this swing become identified? When it closed above this swing. Everybody see that? So in the same context, and keep in mind I said the word closed, all right, you have a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, but did you get a lower low with a close? Did that swing get identified? The answer is no. See that wicked candle? It never closed. So if they don't close, guess what? Their price is right there. This is where the bulk of the buying was done, was right here in this little bar right here, on that particular candle, that is. So where was your identified swing if this is not it right here? It's right here. Everybody see that? That is so important to be able to see that. It'll change your trading, believe me. Okay? Because when you see this, you could even short this here if you wanted to for a 5 tick, like 3 contracts, 5 ticks, something like that. Because resistance kisses, even with that background and everything, you'll more than likely get a trade. But keep in mind that we trade mostly with the trend and retrace trades. Now, was this with the trend? And was this a retrace trade? And the answer is yes, right? Absolutely. So wasn't that a great trade? How much heat did you feel on the trade? That trade was called in the room this morning. How do we know to call that trade in the room this morning? See that swing right there? They came down and kissed it perfectly. And our predictor said, you know what? That looks like a pretty good area, Gary, for you to call a good trade. And we draw on our charts, so guess what? That's what we were looking for. Now, if you want to wait till this thing absolutely goes lightning back on even the right side, you have to wait for it to take out this swing right here as of this moment. See it? Because that's a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low. So this is actually your swing on the left. Now, we don't know about the right yet because we might get a thrust, a little pullback, and a thrust again, and you might get a swing down here. We don't know that yet. Okay, but we do know on the left side of the chart what is there, right? That's our identified swing to the left. Remember what I was saying earlier? There is a trend on the left and there's a trend on the right. There are 4 trends on the left and right, okay? But doesn't this make a world of difference of where you can get in here? You can get in here when it bounces off of support levels. You can get in here when it comes down and kisses. Everybody see what I'm talking about? This is what you're looking at when you're trading, okay? Now, the one thing that we do at Viper Trading Systems is there's no baloney to it. You were in the room this morning. I know for a fact that I personally called at least 10 trades. Now, I didn't count them. We're not into that at all. But if you were in the room, you saw these trades not after you saw them when it happened, okay? And that's how you can make money. You know, if somebody says, you know what, go ahead and take a break of this line and put your stop way down here, are you going to do that with 3 contracts? Because let's face it, 3 contracts would be about over $400. So would you? Now look at this lightning. This is trying to form as we speak right now. Everybody see it? What's it doing right now? Well, it's still kind of doing the old lightning dance down so far, isn't it? But let's just say you're not even in a trade. Let's see if we can get a trade just based on what I just taught. Okay? I want y'all to call the trade. The blue and green ellipses. Yes, Kathy, on your question, those are the predictors. Now, those predictors are looking at support and resistance levels. They're looking at, fib extensions. They're looking at all kinds of things. Okay? And if you draw on your charts, or at least look on your charts to the left and draw your lines, you'll see if that's a predictor that you want to take. Okay? Like for instance, notice that this predictor showed up here, but it never touched it, so you never got a trade. This predictor did touch it, and you got a trade. Everybody see that? Okay? So what have we got so far on here? Anybody? Well, right now it's just doing some retracing. But if you just got up, let's say that you were a late sleeper and it's 9:21 in the morning, can you pick out the next trade? Because it is super, super important. The difference in the different predictors, I'll show you that, David, on your question. Absolutely a retracement or basically a break back to the upside, right? Because you've got a thrust and a retrace. And by the way, I like to do my fibs too, because you can pretty much tell where they're going to bounce. Anybody? 61%? You want to try it? You want to try 61%? 61% is pretty good area to take a trade, by the way, on a thrust and retrace on a shorter move. Now, in larger moves, you want to look at 38. 38.2, I think is what it is, isn't it? 38, yeah, 38.2, 50, and 61.8 are your most important fibs. Okay, now look at that. Didn't that bounce off predictor again? Want to take a chance? No? Let's just wait then. Now remember, don't wait too long on a trade because that trade's already setting up as we speak. Look to the left to trade the right, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Thrust, retrace, thrust, swing. Look at that. Everybody see it? It tested this one first, and we got our trade. And they'll usually do an ABC. And look at that. That's where I would more than likely be getting that trade. But let's just wait and be conservative on it. You want to? We'll be conservative on it. Let me show you some of the tools that we've got with Viper Trading Systems. And I'll show you, for instance, we could take a region on this. We could take a bar close. We could take a PM 1 or 2, which is lightning. How about stealth? We've got a red stealth right now, so let's look for a green one. And by the way, we can look for the first one. We can look for the second one. Okay? But with this already being an uptrend, I'd be looking for the first one. Which 0, by the way, is always going to be the very first one. If you do like 1 here on stealth, it's going to actually be looking for the one right after the one you just had. So in other words, this is a red stealth, so if it gets a green stealth, it will fire it. Okay? Now, usually what I do on this is I'm going to go ahead and at least go 1 contract. I trust this trade. I'm going to put my stop just under the swing with exit on close. Not going to reverse it. Why did we draw the white line where we did? Let me show you. Let me show you. Let's do the same thing with lightning. See your thrust? Your little retrace? Like so, and then like so. Is that a lightning identified swing? And the answer is absolutely yes, right? So are they going to test it? And the answer is absolutely yes. Perfect. We've learned to see these swings in real time. And like I say, it'll make a world of difference in your trading. You know, for instance, if you're basically a conservative trader, can you see that you've got not an identified swing here because it didn't close below it? So here's your identified swing right here. Everybody see that? Right there? Because this didn't close. Now that doesn't mean that I won't take a chance on this trade if it even breaks here, because I would. Okay? Because it's still, even though it wicked it, it is trying its best to bounce off that support. Okay? But let me show you a tool that I like pretty well. And by the way, this little tool is part of even your trial that you're on right now. And of course, Viper traders have it in the live version. A revelation time. There you go. I'm getting some people saying light just clicked on. Light just clicked on. Well, Rob, on your question, I personally like lightning 1 and 2. Okay. But let's say that you were watching this in real time. Now keep in mind, if you weren't even in this trade yet, okay, if you're a breakout trader, if we take this trade on a breakout, we have to put our stop here. But do you see when you got in here that your stop was still here? Did you know we had that line drawn in the room this morning? And that's exactly where you could take that trade, that predictor. So in other words, if you took the trade here instead, that was minor stop. But what if you take this breakout instead? Well, guess what? If you do that, your stop's got to be under the swing. Everybody see that? Okay, let's kill it. Now, let's see if we can get a stealth trade. And I'll show you, this is even a more conservative trade, but you're going to have looser stops. I'll show you what happens in real time. Stealth will actually look for this line to turn green. Okay? Now, if this line turns green, it knows it before it does it, by the way, because it's in the algorithm. But watch how much later it is. It's a conservative trade. I'll just go ahead and speed this up a little bit so you can see it. Stealth trade. We'll watch for it. And by the way, watch power meter 1 too. Now I'm going to personally add something to Object Trader that I think everybody's going to like, because like lights go on in y'all's heads, lights go on in my head too, because I've been watching charts for, 50,000 hours probably. But does everybody see this right over here where you had a down and an up? Couldn't you get on that bar? Wouldn't that be a little 1, 2, 3 reversal? So couldn't you get in here and have a little tighter stop than this breakout? Absolutely. But stick with the particular trend, because the trend is up and our software will show you the trend's up. Okay? And your analysis of the chart, is this still a downtrend? And the absolute answer is no, it's not. Okay? Stealth green will be too high up, Mindy. It'll be a little higher, especially when you get bars straight up like this. But let's just see if it fires and gives us a good trade. We'll go ahead and see. Stealth is more than likely going to fire sometime here pretty soon, because it is breaking the original stealth over here to the left. So we'll see. I'll speed it up a little bit because we're running about 9 minutes short. Now, real quick, kind of a heads up. I won't, point anybody out or anything like this. Does everybody see how you can see on your charts how we get these trades? If you were in the room today, we only missed on one trade. Was it a particularly trending day? Some, but not totally. That's because we see these trades in real time on these charts. Okay? Now notice we don't have a stealth yet. Still don't have a stealth yet. Look to the left to trade the right. Where haven't they checked yet? Anybody? They haven't checked here. I'd probably be going manually if they come down here. They're still not taking out our identified swing, right? Everybody see your identified swing? Right across there. They're wicking it. They're wicking it. See your identified swing? Not identified, is it? Wicked. That's your identified swing right there. There you go. Now I'd probably be jumping on this pretty quick. Look at that predictor again. What do you think, everybody? You want to try a predictor trade instead of stealth? We'll do touch plus 2. We'll see if we can get a predictor trade. And what if it blows through it? Well, we'll be in a trade anyway if it does 1 tick above that 2 ticks. But what do we do, everyone? We put our stops. Now this is where I personally like to get in a trade better, is at like a support area rather than a little breakout area. Okay? Because guess what? You're going to get a little consolidation patch usually before they break to begin with. Watch and see if this doesn't do it. I don't know if it did or not. This was after 10, but let's find out. Let's see. And you remember in the room we talk about boxing it in? Where would your box be right now? And could you go ahead and be ready to box that trade the way we teach? Now, I'm doing a predictor trade, but what if you're a little more conservative and you say, you know what, I'm going to box that instead. So let's box it. And that third candle back would be pretty good. And I'd only be looking for long trades. Everybody see why? And I would probably do something like this. Touch plus 2 on my region. Now this means this will fire 2 ticks inside the bottom of this region because I've got it set on touch plus 2. If it blows through it, we won't even get the trade. Okay. There's your 1. Get your target. Okay. Now what if we go ahead and go again with a break of this right here? We can do that, can't we? Let's go ahead and turn this one off. And we'll leave this one on. And if it touches above that resistance, we'll get 2 more. I'm going to ask you here in just a minute to show me the very next trade again. Because with drawing on your charts, you should literally be able to see the next trade pretty easily. Okay, let's see what happens. Because after the room closed and everything, I was helping some customers put on scripts and things like that. But let's just watch and see what happens here. I'll speed it up a little bit. By the way, I'd probably put my stop just in case under there. That swing. It'll add 2 more if it touches 2 ticks above the box. Not yet. We could add them at the bottom if you want. I don't mind that trade. Show you how you box, James? Absolutely. All you do to box a trade is you just simply use your region. I'll go ahead and turn it off. We'll go back to region. All right. Let's say that you wanted to take a region trade. Now, I'm not going to, we'll go ahead and do this, but this is more of a breakout trade. Like that. See how that touched 0 above that box? That actually is how you do a region trade. This region can be moved anywhere on the chart, and I can even add to it, by the way. I just simply, well, I can't now because let's get rid of 2. I'll show you how to add to it. See there? You can even add to it because we've built our region to where you can move it live on the chart and actually add to your trade if you want to. It's pretty cool. Now, I can't add any more than 3 because my max quantity is set to 3. Now, if I had that set to 10 or 5, then I could add anywhere up to 5. But I can always take some coin. You know, for instance, let's say that this hits a little top here and I want to take some off, okay? And what if I want to add it again if it comes down to like right across here maybe? Let's see if we can get, let's see if we can add. See if that comes down. It may not come down that low. We don't know. Okay, but that is an a priori swing looking to the left to trade the right. And I'd probably put it on touch +2 at least. You do have a swing over here also, just a tad higher. So right there is where I'm going to add 2. See, we draw on our charts is what we do, everyone. We use these boxes. This may not give it. That's okay. It didn't come down low enough. We're okay. What do you think if it thrusts up? Where's your next trade on the chart? Anybody? I'll bet you we can pick it out. You want to just fast forward it and see if we can? I'll bet you we can. Yes, we can. Somebody said that a few years ago, didn't they? Yes, we can. All right. You got a high here. You've thrust it up. So guess what? Anybody want to guess where the next trade would very possibly be? Now, this is actually heading up pretty nicely, but wouldn't you put your stop just underneath the swing? See it? Whoop. Must have hit, oh, we hit our targets, so we're out. Everybody see that? But anyway, that's where your swing is, so you would definitely protect some coin there. See how those swings draw in real time? Pretty cool. You want to try a counter trend trade? That's already too late. Power meter just went red. I'll take it anyway, though. See the power meter's red? We're getting a little retrace. See there? That's when they run out of gusto and they break these little swings, you can almost box them in at these tops too. But you got to be careful too. And I'd put my stop at break even just in case, like so. If they take it, they take it. Everybody see that? Now, do you see your next trade on this chart? Anybody? 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 Let's draw on our chart and see if we can see it. I'm going to kill this trade, but I'm going to see if I can nail this trade for you. And then we'll wrap. I'm going to get rid of lightning. Let's see, we'll get rid of lightning too. All right, so we have these drawn on our lightning 3. Let me draw it again, just real quick. All right, there's lightning 3. I've got an a priori swing here. I've got an a priori swing here. There's my sweet spot. Everybody see that? This is my little sweet spot. Now this is what we call a phantom trade, but if it also bounces, see this thrust up here, pull back and thrust up again. So this is also support right here. Okay, now like I said, this doesn't mean that we couldn't have shorted this up here because I did. Okay, but let's see if we can get this little trade. I hope I've got enough data. We'll see. I'll draw my lightning on this side too. That's your secondary identified swing. I'm going to take it. Reason I'm taking that is because it's bouncing right off my secondary swing, and I like that particular swing. Plus, it's a predictor. Okay, and my target, I would probably go ahead and put up at the top, and I put this one right in through here. Okay. Now this is actually pretty close to the bell, really, really close to the bell. So we may not get anything on this. It's within, well, it's an hour and a half. I guess we got some time. We got some time. Now, what if you weren't as aggressive as me? Can anybody see another trade on this chart? How about lightning? Want to try it just for 10 ticks? If that turns green? Or how about boxing it in? How about that right there? I'll do a touch plus 2. Let's see if we can get 10 ticks. Didn't quite get it. Now this is the bell right here, so I'd probably be killing that trade to begin with, but let's just leave it on for just a minute and see. I'm gonna bring my target down though, since that's my identified swing. Everybody see why? Because it's not really taking it out, and I just ran out of data, so evidently we won't get that trade. Now real quick, it's 8:02. Does everybody see a little bit easier how to absolutely get in these trades and see these trades in real time? Because it wasn't no hokey pokey. When this trade was called in gold this morning, it was called right in here. Does anybody remember NQ or Russell or any of those? What do you think about those? Where do you think they were called? Anybody? Could you pick them out yourself? Because that's really, really important. Because if you look at this trade right here, I'll show you something. This was NQ this morning. And does anybody remember? This is 8:30, by the way. See, this is when the market opens. That's my time. Right here. And we have a little box that draws right here, by the way. But do you see that this green stealth started? You had a low, a high, a higher low, higher high. You're starting to get identified swings. At the open, by the way, don't pay attention to the background as much as you pay attention to what's happening, because we nailed that trade. Everybody should remember it. We got stopped out at mid-band, remember? Now, I got stopped out right here because I called it. I said line 6, close of the bar. This is where I got stopped out, is on that bar. But do you remember what we actually did after that? We got this trade. And it still stayed in, by the way, and got all the way up to that top. Does anybody remember this one here? Right over here. Was there a reason, by the way, to go short just because this had red bars? No, right? Because what did you actually have happening all over your chart? Well, you had a low here, a high here, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So why in the world would you want to be short? But you want to see if you can pick out exactly where it does go short, if it does. because you should be able to see it by what I taught. Anybody want to try it? You want to give it a shot and see if we can do it? Because we called this trade too. Where's your identified swing on this chart? Anybody? Well, it's all the way down here, right? Right now, anyway, on your larger swing. Remember your a priori swing? Okay, so let's watch it in real time and see what happened. Let's just see what happened with NQ. Anybody? Anybody remember that? Where's your swing on this chart? Anybody? Just chime in. Because if you can see it, it'll make a difference in your trading. Okay? Where does this trade, if it was to change directions, where is it? Well, we just got through teaching it, right? Let's go ahead and look. And I'm going to wrap pretty quick after this. Let's draw our... Is that your identified swing? That's your identified swing, right? Everybody see that? Identified swing. When do you take the trade? Anybody? I know you'll remember this trade. Anybody? Right there. Remember where I drew that line in the room this morning? That's that line. And guess where we took that trade? Anybody? We took it right there. And what did it do after we closed the room even? Anybody? How's that for a trade? See, all you got to do is teach yourself to see these in real time. When they break, doesn't mean you want to take the breakout. You want to take the retracement rollover. You can even wait until the background changes to red and you get this medium magenta color. Isn't this a good trade area? Look at that predictor. Called it. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. These are all good trades. And you can actually just even draw trend lines on them as far as that goes. Could you take that trade on a break of that trend line? Yes. Could you take this trade on a break? Thrust, retrace, thrust. Draw your trend line. You might have gotten faked into it a little bit, but just put your stop here anyway and you got that trade. Everybody see that? If you box in, you can also see, for instance, this hit mid-band and it rolled over right here. This is actually where your little box would have been drawn, right like that. Did that trade take you out? Even though it faked you in a little bit, it never took you out of the trade. And look at that monster drop. When it rolls, absolutely. Okay, we're 8 minutes over. Does anyone want to take a shot at one more, or what do you think? Let's see when you get stopped out of this trade. Let's just pretend you didn't get in here, you didn't get in here, you didn't get in here, but you did get in here. Okay, so let's look at this trade and you tell me the moment that you want to get stopped out. Okay, let's just pretend that you have learned from Viper and you saw these trades in real time. You either got this one or you got this one. Okay, or you even got this one back here. But let's say that you walked in the room and this is what was happening at the time. And you said, you know what? I've got a high, I've got a low. Well, pardon me, I got a low, I got a high, I got a lower low, right? So is that an identified swing? And the answer is absolutely yes, right? So if you get something that's under that, wouldn't you think it would probably head down? Because what's the definition of a downtrend? A low, a high, a lower high, a lower low. But when would you get stopped out of this trade? Anyone? Look at your swings. You got a low, you got a high, you got a lower low. There's an identified swing as we speak right now, right? Now let's see if it goes any lower. There's your identified swing. See it? Low, high, lower low. That close below, I'd put it right across there. Wouldn't you? Now here, everybody see the swing? And you got stopped out. Now, let me ask you another quick question and we're going to wrap. What would it take for this to actually break to the upside and change trends? Well, you'd have to take out this resistance here or here even, right? And you'd have a phantom trade, wouldn't you? So let's see if we can get even another short possibly. Because where's our high, our low, our lower high, our lower low? Let's see if we get anything. Resistance, what do you think? Rolling over. Uh-oh, we got a green background. I'd still box it. That box didn't do. There we go. Bam. Everybody see that? Learn to draw on your charts and see these swings in real time, and it will make a world of difference in your trading. We have people in the room all the time that say, I drew that line right when you did, Gary, or I drew that line when Charles said, to put the stop right there. And you don't have to give them all the way to mid-band on these retraces either, okay? Watch your lightning, and just like I taught all night, isn't that your identified swing right there? So couldn't you take that trade off the table right there? You didn't have to wait till mid-band, because was it doing the lightning dance down? Yes. When did it start doing the lightning dance up? When it took out the previous swing. Okay? So you could be ready to take this trade again when it came up to resistance and rolled over. Okay? And I don't know what it did the rest of the afternoon, but right here you're starting to actually break more to the upside. Everybody see that? So what are you looking for now? Anybody? You're looking for a retracement long. Why? Because you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, you have a lower low. They broke lightning. What do you think? They broke lightning. So what would you do? You'd look for a retrace trade. You want to see if we get one? Bingo. Bingo. There you go. That's exactly the way you trade it. Now, could you have been in from way down here? We've got some people that were in from way down here. That's a risky trade though. Okay, because you can easily break a swing and come back and take it out. If you do take this trade on a little breakout, you got to put your stop at the swing. If you take this on a breakout, you got to put your stop at this swing. If you take this one, you got to put it here. If you take this one, you got to put it here. Everybody see that? Each time you take a breakout type trade, if you take it early, before all these backgrounds change and everything, you didn't know this was an uptrend yet. When it became an uptrend, for sure, was when you boxed it here at mid-band the way we teach, and it came back and kissed it. We would have definitely got that trade if we would have been open, but we would have also gotten that trade. Okay? And that's exactly the way we teach Viper. Does our software only work on NinjaTrader? Yes, Albert, it does. NinjaTrader is, I think, a really good software to begin with. You can download it for free, and I think you'll be absolutely amazed at how this can make a world of difference, because in our room this morning we definitely called, well, not after the room closed obviously, but we called a lot of these trades that I just showed. Okay. All right, thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and remember, you can know where that next trade is. All you got to do is draw on your charts and look at your 4 trends and trust lightning. Okay. That's it. Easiest way to trade I can think of. And we give you the tools. You've got the power meter, you've got lightning, you've got the backgrounds, you've got everything you need to trade. Could you have shorted here at mid-band? Absolutely. Is that a 10, 15, 20 tick trade? Absolutely it is. Did it start breaking up when you boxed it in and got this? Absolutely it did again. And we'll teach you to see those in real time. Keep in mind, this is like 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. That's 4 hours. Okay, so there's a lot of trades in here. Okay, thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and we're going to draw on the charts again in the morning. Let's see if we can nail about 90% of our trades again. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good one. And this will be up on the webinar site also, and for our members. I'll try to have it up in the morning. Thanks everyone.